On a donc l'export manager, le fondateur et le maître distillateur de Milk & Honey qui viennent nous présenter la première distillerie israélienne. Je vous demande de les accueillir chaleureusement, s'il vous plaît.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone will understand us because we usually don't understand ourselves. And I want to first introduce Gal, which is the founder and the owner, and Tomer, the chef distiller. Thomas. Yeah, we have a French name now. So we're from Tel Aviv. I guess, if anyone been to Tel Aviv? Yeah, so come afterwards to our stand. I'll give you some sunscreen lotion next time you come to Israel. So we're from Tel Aviv. Our distillery is located just 5 minutes walk from the beach. So I guess then everyone is here. All the rest of the crew is down at the beach. And let's speak a little bit about how we started the whole thing. So of course, you see Tomer, which is, yeah, it's you. Tomer, the distiller, is going to speak about himself a little bit. He doesn't like to speak about himself. And Gal, which is the owner, and Dr. Jim Swan, that was with us when we started. He was our consultant and actually the first master distiller. You probably know him from other distilleries, but he was actually the best in distilling and aging whiskey in warm climates, like in Israel, like in Tel Aviv. I think his famous work was Kavalan. So Taipei and Tel Aviv, hot and humid. I think we are a bit closer to the beach, but or our beach is nicer. But in climate control, if you talk about, not the control, if you talk about climate and aging whiskey in hot climate, it's almost the same method. So, I think it's your turn now. It's about establishing and everything.
So the crazy idea of making whiskey in Israel is started in 2012. We thought about the idea. People said we are very crazy, but we still did it. First distillation was in 2015, which means that we have whiskey right now. In 2017, we released the first Israeli whiskey. You know the calculation, which means that in the mid-time, we did a little experiment and we could have had whiskey in 2017. First export, thank you, Tal, was 2018. And the triple cask young single malt 2019, you should know it. And the whiskey will be here very soon. We have for the show very nice whiskey that you will taste. But in the beginning of 2020, you will have whiskey from Israel in France. So
just a quick technical things. We are doing mostly unpeated barley, okay? Just twice a year we are mashing peated barley. The peated barley is from Czech Republic, and the unpeated barley, our common barley is from Mantons in England. We have 1 ton batches, and we do 10 batches a week, okay? For stainless steel, first distillation is in 9,000 liters wash steel, and second distillation is in really nice steel that made for us in Karl in Germany. It's a 3,500 liter steel. And maturation, so we have about, it's now more than it, it's about 1,500 casks in-house, in our warehouse, that located near the distillery, just in the distillery. We will talk about this later. We are filling now about 800 casks a year, but not all of our spirit goes to whiskey, because we make also gin and herbal liquor. And we also have the new make, you can taste it in our stand. Okay. Our core range of casks is based mainly on ex-bourbon. Okay, about 70% of our casks are ex-bourbon. Beside the ex-bourbon, we have mostly STR red wine casks, and virgin oak, and Israeli red wine casks. other casks that we have from the series that will be in our portfolio is ex-Isla and the sherry casks. The sherry is very interesting. You can taste it in our stand. We don't have time today. Other experimental casks, we have a lot of types. The most interesting is the pomegranate cask. We have some big winery in Israel that produce pomegranate wine. We use their casks. It's very Israeli. It's very common to us, very special to us. No one uses this kind of cask. Okay.
So, as we said, we are located in Tel Aviv, which is a Mediterranean city, not far from the beach, just between Tel Aviv and Jaffa. And you have to understand, Tel Aviv is 100 years old, Jaffa is 4,000 years old, and one of the oldest cities. And Tel Aviv, the name in Hebrew, Tel is ruins, Aviv is spring. So everything is old and new, and I think that this is our distillery. We are doing a very traditional way of distilling, of single malt making, but with all kinds of crazy casks and crazy ideas, which you are going to taste here and in our stand if you will come. But I just looked at my phone earlier, and it's 29 degrees right now in Tel Aviv, and this is autumn. So it's never-ending summer. We're just so enjoying the little bit of rain here because we have, I guess, around 6 weeks of winter. So 300 days of sunshine, temperatures between 16. It can go down to 10 degrees, something like that in the winter. But the winter is drier, and the summers are very hot and very humid. So just think about aging a cask, that if it's so humid, the alcohol evaporates and the water stays in. So actually, the ABV goes down. And in the winter, it's dry, so water goes out, so the ABV actually goes up. So it depends when you take it out of the cask. Sometimes it's stronger. You can put it in a cask, and after 1 year, it's going to be stronger by alcohol. So it's different. And of course, the humidity, we talked about it, 50, it's in the winter, and can go up to 90% humidity. It's like walking in a soup or something like that. It's very hard. So we are a very small country. From side to side, from the northern part to the lowest, let's say, the southern point, it's 430, 450 kilometers. Total of 20,000 square kilometers. And I think the top, the highest mountain is just above 2,000 meters. And the lowest place on Earth, the lowest place in the world, is minus 428 meters below sea level, which is the Dead Sea. So, of course, we have 5 climate zones in this very small country. So, of course, Upper Galilee with the mountains and the snow in the winter, Jerusalem mountains, Mediterranean. This is just 5 minutes walk from the distillery here. The desert, very dry, very hot. And the Dead Sea, which is kind of a very weird place. It's very low, it's very hot, can go up to 50, 55 degrees. But it's not a part of the desert belt in the world. So it was not supposed to be a desert. But because it's so low, Tel Aviv is 0, Jerusalem is plus 700, and then half an hour later, minus 428 meters. So it's not supposed to be a desert, but because the clouds, when they get there, they have no more rain, so it became a desert. And the sea is so salty because of the ground around it and because of the sun. So aging casks there is crazy. Very small area with all kinds of ways to mature the casks.
It's working?
No?
It's really good playground for blenders, for whiskey distillers, because you have so many different climates that the whiskey develops really, really different in each one of them. It's very nice. We will see one. Okay, we'll move to a movie.
I'll show you a little clip.
It doesn't have sound, so I will explain or tell. Dead? No, this is not the Dead Sea.
We talked about the wonders of the world, so we have one of them with the lowest place on Earth. You're going to see it in a second.
And this is our wonder.
So we start our journey from the Med Sea, Mediterranean Sea. We call this tasting, which you're going to go through Med against Dead. So it's Med Sea, Mediterranean Sea against the Dead Sea. So we load the casks there next to the beach in Jaffa. So this is old Jaffa, and then you can see Tel Aviv now.
This is me.
Yeah, still you.
Minus 400 meters, you can see it. Israel's greatest wonder. And now we are aging the cask on the top of a hotel roof. You will see it.
So because it's in a roof, on a roof, it's minus 300 and something, not minus 400. And here Tomer tried to kill himself because try to smell a cask at 50 degrees. When you take out the sample, it's warm. It's almost like tea. We guess it's around, in Tel Aviv we have a kind of something like between 9 and 11% angel share. At the Dead Sea can go up to 25. So we cannot do a full maturation there. We have to do like a 1 year and then bring the casks over to the distillery, put it aside, but you're going to see it in a second.
Okay, so you have an idea how it is at the Dead Sea. Now we'll go to tasting Med versus Dead. Okay, Mediterranean Sea against the Dead Sea. So in your first glass, you have rye cask, small rye cask, 113 liters, aged at the distillery for only 10 months. Okay, we talked about Israel is very hot and humid, so we have kind of quick maturation. Okay. Anyway, we will not call anything lower than 3 years whiskey. Okay, so relax. And this is in Tel Aviv. The Mediterranean Sea is just nearby the distillery. You can taste it.
Number 1 and 2 is cask samples, so 55% alcohol. First one, Tel Aviv. Second one, Dead Sea. So you can taste and do a comparative tasting, but same cask, same feeling, same dates, exactly. Actually, the Dead Sea is 2 days younger. I think so, but you can actually taste in 10 months the whole difference here.
10 months, it's a little bit spicy. That's mainly from the rye cask, but it is very smooth, very sweet, and nice. Now you can move to the second glass, which is the same twin cask aged at the Dead Sea. Same cask filled in 2 days difference. You can see
Look at the colors.
the differences in the color. Distillery, Dead Sea. It's 55%. It's 55%, sorry. So, you see the differences? It can be good, it can be very bad for maturation, okay? We have to learn how to work with it, but it gives us more opportunities and more different things to work with.
I think one of the most, extreme things we have to learn when maturing whiskey, even in Tel Aviv, not only in the Dead Sea, because the fast maturation, you have to monitor every cask almost once a week or something like that. You cannot, just forget a cask for 1 year, taste it from time to time, every week, every 2 weeks. If the Scots say you fill in the cask and your whiskey is going to sleep, our casks are working. They're working hard.
Okay, at the beginning we wanted to do another comparison between 2 STR casks, but they told us that it's too much to pour at the masterclass. So you are really welcome to our stand. We have these 2 pouring of STR at the Dead Sea and STR cask at the distillery. Very different comparison, but very interesting. We'll move on. Tal, do you want to talk about the young single malt?
So, glass number 3, drum number 3 is a young single malt. Okay, again, we don't have regulations in Israel. We could have called it whiskey since day one, but we are following the Scottish regulations, so we don't call it whiskey. It's a young single malt, and I think In France, it's even young spirit, aged single malt or something like that. And it's a triple cask. It's a blend of 3 casks, ex-bourbon, ex-red wine cask, STR, and ex-Isla. I think this one was a Lafroy cask. So a little bit of ex-Isla, you get a bit of smokiness, a bit of pittiness, and of course the roundness. But bear in mind, it's a young product, but you don't feel it's that young because of our climate. I think we were in London together giving a tasting like that, and people really didn't understand how it tastes like that in a few months or a few years. So we said, I told him, I'm 13 years old, look at me. You age much faster in the Middle East. And I think that someone asked us about if we're going to keep the cask for 12 years, 15 years. Of course, professionally, it's going to be probably over-matured, and you lose a lot for the angels. But we said, we laughed and we said, you don't plan that far away at the Middle East, you have to think about that tomorrow. So this one is a triple cask, a very young one, 46 ABV because it's non-chill filter, and I hope you like it. It's almost 10 months?
Yeah,
10 months old.
It's about 10 months old. It gives you the idea what we can do in such a short time, or the idea of how our whiskey will be in 3 years' time or more. And I think this is amazing for the age. Speaking about myself. Okay, this is also available here in France through La Maison de Whisky.
But it's going to disappear because we are just about to launch our whiskey. I think the first shipment of classic whiskey from us is going to be in this November, so it's probably going to reach France in the end of December, the beginning of next year. So those bottles from now on, I think they're going to be something like a collector's item, but it's a young single malt, it's not a whiskey yet. These are the last bottles I think we have.
But the most interesting bottle for today is a special release of whiskey. This is whiskey. You see the bottle, this is our new shape of bottle. This is only 100 bottles of ex-bourbon casks finished in Isla casks, 55% alcohol, okay? And this is a special release for La Maison de Whisky. So this is about 4 years old. It's technically 3 years old because you must call it the youngest cask, but it's more close to 4 years old. 55%, yeah, I told.
You can see the little on the bottle. There's a La Maison de Whisky exclusive and a little Eiffel Tower there. So this is actually how our very next near future is going to look like. So this is the classic, which is, you can see a little bit of Tel Aviv here. And the classic is mostly bourbon cask with a little bit of STR, red wine. If you don't, STR, it's shaved, toasted, and recharred. So it's a red wine cask, which was developed originally for Kavalan. And now lots of distilleries are using it. It's great in warm climates, gives you lots of character and taste in the first year, and then it balances and aging like any other cask. So it gives us a little bit of spiciness and fruitiness to the blend. Just think about when it's hot, everything spreads. So it's like a little crocodile skin inside, and then when it spreads, the liquid goes in and extracts most of the tannins and some of the woodiness, and of course the taste of the wines. So this is mostly bourbon cask, a little bit of STR. This is going to be available from this year, from the end of this year. And this series will be called The Elements, ex-sherry cask. It's a very interesting project. We had to send a rabbi from Barcelona to Jerez to make a kosher sherry wine. So we made the wine kosher, and then we seasoned the cask with Pedro Jimenez and with the Oloroso sherry, and we got the cask. We don't know what they did with the wines because we don't care, but we just needed the wine for the casks. We are from Tel Aviv, so us and kosher is not something that goes together. We're not from Jerusalem. But they say the best thing about Jerusalem is the way to Tel Aviv. But again, if we're talking about an added value for us, it's easy for us to make a kosher product, so why not? This one is a peated cask, so it's the same. 3 of them, sherry casks, peated casks, and this one is going to be with Israeli wine casks, ex-Israeli wine cask, which, of course, if you take a Cabernet Sauvignon from here and from Israel, it's going to be totally different. And the last one is going to be all kinds of special editions. You saw the range of the crazy cask we have, from ex-pomegranate cask, IPA or whatever, or Dead Sea. So it's going to be small batches, single casks, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I think we really wait for this one.
Any questions?
Where does the name from milk and honey? Why is the brand is named? I think you are.
So the milk and honey is from the Bible. It's the land of the milk and honey. This is how the land of Israel is talked about in the Bible. But still, we are not very religion in our company. So I guess for most of the world, we will call them M&H distillery. For the people that really care about where it's from, it will be the land of the milk and honey.
There's no milk and no honey inside, okay? In the end of the whiskey show, yeah, it's it's because of the bourbon cask. No. In the end of whiskey shows, when people, they drink a little bit more, so they usually come and look for something sweet. They say, you're the guys with the milk and the honey. So no, it's only whiskey.
Another thing, it's a bull, so don't try to take the milk from the bull. Another question, somebody? So thank you very much. You're welcome to come to our stand and see more from the Dead Sea cask, and to see more things. And another special whiskey we made a few years ago. So thank you very much.
Thank you.